refrigerator Perry, and just how hard he hit. And my mama told me homecoming games are the best. On the banks of those late fall, late cartwheel sunsets, I wanted to be just like Jeff Davis when I grew up, tackling Seminoles and Bulldogs, playing football in the mud. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. I feel really sorry for our sisters to the south, 'cause they come up here every other year and get punched in the mouth. Oh, and every home Saturday, it gives us the chills to watch those boys in orange run together down that hill. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh, somewhere up in heaven, Gaines Adams makes a sack, and that old Banks McFadden is the best damn running back. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Everybody, damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Thursday to everybody. We finally got some football tonight. I love Thursdays. We've got an NFL game that I'm really excited to watch. Houston and Miami, obviously because of Houston, it's the Clemson connection with DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, and company. And there's like 4 college games tonight. Most of them aren't very good. The most exciting one is actually a group of 5 game. And so we'll get into all that. Before I forget, I want to let anybody you know who, if you're new here, if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this on the replay, please hit the like and subscribe button. I upload meaningless and pointless college football videos every single week, all week long. I also do 2 live streams a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. where we get on here and talk about college football, NFL football, and most importantly, argue. Also, anybody who wants to support the show, there's a link in the description to the Patreon page. It's a monthly donation site. You can set up an account in 5 minutes, go on there and read the benefits of becoming a Patreon member. And thanks ahead of time for anybody who's done that. And, of course, big shout-out to Billy Dawson and Tiger Nation, the first 2 guys to already sign up for that. So I love you guys. I appreciate that. Let's see who's in the comment section here before we start talking about football. Oh, also, before I get into this, before I forget, normally I do a live play-by-play and reaction video every single Saturday for a primetime college football game. I will be out of town. I'm leaving town tomorrow, going to Virginia. I'm actually going to a NASCAR race, believe it or not. I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, but I go to the same race with my family, my wife's side of the family, every single year. So we go and have a great time doing that. I may actually live stream from the NASCAR race just for the hell of it. I mean, you guys can let me know if you want me to do that. I mean, otherwise, if nobody's interested in that, then I won't do it. But let's see who's in the comment section here. Tiger Nation, good afternoon. He says first, hi. That's got to be the most confusing name on YouTube, but hi. Billy Dawson, good afternoon, sir. Delta Charlie says, why do so many people struggle with ETN's name? I don't know, sir, because they don't know how to read, and they probably graduated from the University of South Carolina. Chris Harper, good afternoon, sir. He says, how is it on Easy Street? Better be preparing for Bama. I don't know if you're trying to trigger me. Bama's had it on Easy Street too, sir. Name one single team that you've beat so far that's better than who Clemson's beat. Can't do it because it hasn't happened. Tiger Nate, good afternoon, sir. DeGoat Watson, good afternoon to you. Christian Ballard says, what's up, Pete? Well, what's up to you, sir? Appreciate you stopping in. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. Mark Dudley says, what's up, fellas? And I just clicked something and that messed my screen up. That's par for the course, though. Here we go. I'm back on track now. Delta Charlie says, Uncle Lou says, Eden. I think he's just kidding, sir. He's trying to piss people like me and you off. He's good at that. Dennis Wilson, or Mrs. Wilson, as I call him. It's a sad day in Charlotte to be a Clemson Tiger. Yeah, well, I would say I'd see you in Charlotte, but Dennis Wilson, you probably won't make it there. So we'll see you next year, buddy. Go 1330. Good afternoon, sir. Let me see here. Let me make sure I get everybody. A Pack Fan 12. Good afternoon, sir. To you. Thank you for joining the stream. Florida is going to win, says hi. He's a Florida fan, judging from his profile picture there. I'm going to talk about the Florida game for sure. That's one of the biggest games of the weekend. Tiger Mac. Good afternoon. He says, do you think Clemson will beat Florida State more than 21? I'm going to get into that in a second, sir. I'm going to go over all these big-time games today. That's what I want to talk about today. And I think I already said hello to Mark Dudley. SC Tiger Fan 803 says, good afternoon. Well, good afternoon to you. Nick Bro, good afternoon to you too, sir. Jesus, I can't. I didn't even graduate from South Carolina. I can't spell or read what your name is. I don't want to butcher it. Abdroff. Is that right? Please tell me that's right, because that's what I'm going to call you, unless you tell me different. Abdroff says, what's up? What's up, Abdroff? All right. All right, good. I pronounced it right, he says. Great. You made my day. I'm smarter than I even thought I was, which is not saying very much for myself. All right, so let's talk about before we get into the college game, because there's a ton of them. I just want to briefly touch on the NFL game tonight that's happening, Thursday Night Football, as I like to call it, injury night football. The fact that they play on Sunday and then again on Thursday is ridiculous. But I'm not complaining, because I do love to watch football on Thursday night. I'm glad there's 3 days of NFL, or I'm sorry, 2 days of NFL rather. No, 3, Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night. 3 days of NFL football rather than 2, because I just love to watch NFL football. But tonight we have the Texans, who are on a 4-game winning streak, and they're playing the Miami Dolphins. Guess who Miami's quarterback has been since Ryan Tannehill got hurt? Brock Osweiler. So yesterday was the Mega Millions winner, which was from the state of South Carolina, where I live. Won $1.5 billion. The guy who won that $1.5 billion in the Mega Millions ticket still is not as lucky as Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler made over $100 million to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. How does that happen? Whoever gave him that contract at Denver, and then which was then passed on to Houston, and then passed on to Cleveland, and of course now he's at Miami, that should be fired and blackballed and banned from ever making an important decision as far as football goes for the rest of their career. They don't even deserve to be a towel boy, let alone making big decisions like that. Anyway, Brock Osweiler is terrible. All I've been hearing on Twitter, of course, which is basically the pit of misery, the pit of hell when it comes to football, is Deshaun Watson's overrated. Well, this goes back before Watson was even drafted. Okay. Watson's going to be a bust. He's Vince Young 2.0. He's terrible. He's a running quarterback. You can't run in the NFL. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, last year before he tore his ACL, goes out there and is on his way to making Rookie of the Year. Throws 19 touchdown passes in 6 games. lights the world on fire, gets hurt. Then this year comes back after not playing football for 9 months after a surgery on his knee. Has a week 1 struggle and a loss. By the way, they lost their first 3 games. Threw for 139 yards and 1 touchdown. Did not look like himself. So after that week 1 game, Twitter was just blowing up. Told you. I told you Deshaun Watson was overrated. He only had 139 yards and 1 touchdown. That first year, he just got lucky. Just like he just got lucky all his 3 years at Clemson, too. Second week, a little bit better. 177 yards and 1 touchdown, not much better. Not lighting the world on fire. Then we go to week 3. 375 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Week 4, 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Week 5, 385 yards and 2 touchdowns. Week 6, 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they're on a 4-game winning streak. Basically, despite the fact that he crapped the bed getting back on the saddle after not playing football for 9 months, he's at 2,000 yards, 9 total touchdowns, and a 4-game win streak. And let's be real here, guys. If Deshaun Watson was not the quarterback of that football team, the Texans would be 0-6 or 0-7, however many games they played. Can't add. Adding's not my strength. But there is one thing I do know. He's great. That's all I do know. So anyway, I'm picking the Texans to win this game for obvious reasons. I mean, Brock Osweiler versus Deshaun Watson. What are we talking about here? Can you name one elite receiver that's playing tonight for the Dolphins? I can't, but I can name 2 that are playing for the Texans. One's named DeAndre Hopkins. The other one's named Will Fuller. So anyway, I'll be pulling for the Texans as I always do, as long as they're not playing my Carolina Panthers. So anybody have any thoughts on that before we get into the real deal, what we're all really here for, and that's to talk about college football. That's to talk about Clemson versus Florida State, Florida versus Georgia, which is a huge, huge game, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State, App State versus Georgia, which they play tonight. That's not a Power 5 game, but still a very interesting game. Iowa and Penn State, Texas and Oklahoma State, NC State and Syracuse, Kansas State and Oklahoma, Washington State, Stanford, and, of course, Miami and Boston College. And last but not least, the game of the 2 trash can programs, Tennessee and South Carolina. Let me catch up on these comments here real quick before I get into any of that. What's up, Gareth Warren? He says, hey, man, I'm back. Well, I'm glad you're back, sir. I didn't know you ever left, but either way, I'm glad you're back. Nick Bro says, go Dolphins. Delta Charlie says, you remember when Clemson and Florida State was a big game? Yeah, that was before Clemson got so good that we ran old Jimbo off to the SEC, where he has a better chance of winning. Texans offense line is ass and not Deshaun's fault. Well, that's very true, sir, Tiger Mac. The Texans have a very good defense, elite skill position players. They don't have a very good running game. I mean, Lamar Miller last week had a good game, but that's like once every 5 or 6 games, Lamar Miller actually shows up. I mean, let's be real. It's Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins that run that offense. They score 90% of the points on that offense. If it wasn't for those two, they'd be 0-6. They'd be the new Browns. What's up, Glow? How you doing, sir? Yeah, 1,000 subscribers. Pete, yeah, thank you. I saw that. I noticed that last night. I got a bunch of, and by the way, thank you to everybody. I got a bunch of people commenting last night and today, congratulating me on the 1,000 subscriber mark. I actually hit that on what day was that? Sunday. Sunday, I had over 1,000 subscribers for about 2 hours. Then it dropped down to 988 within like an hour. And whatever. I don't know why. So YouTube is now, reviewing my channel. So any YouTube executive or office person or whatever the hell they call you people who sit here and review these channels, hi. Because I'm sure this is going to be one of the videos you watch, because this is the first one I've uploaded since I hit 1,000. So hi. Don't screw me like I'm sure you probably will, like you've been doing for the past 12 months. But thank you in advance for that. I appreciate it. Please and thank you, sir or ma'am, whatever you are. Prince 6'1", good afternoon, sir. How you doing? Good to see you here. Sorry, I'm way behind in the comments, guys. I'm trying to not miss anything here. To go Watson, that's a pretty interesting stat. It says Deshaun Watson has more rushing yards than all Texans running backs combined. So this is off topic again. Before I get into the, what's up, Braden Kelly? How you doing, man? Before I get into these college games, there's a lot I want to say about the college games, and I've only got 45 minutes left, and that's not near enough time to talk about all the college games I want to talk about. But we will talk about them. But I still continue. I mean, almost a daily basis now. Well, it's been this way since I started the YouTube channel, but it's still on a pretty much daily basis that I get comments on my videos, whether it's an old video or a new video. I mean, I read all the comments, or at least I try to. I can't respond to every single one of them because otherwise I'd just sit in my house all day and respond to comments, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't have a house because I wouldn't be able to work. But I try as much as I can. But anyway, all I've ever heard is since Clemson won the national title with Deshaun Watson, obviously. Oh, now Deshaun Watson's leaving. Clemson's going to be terrible. Yeah, you guys got lucky to get such a great player. Now Clemson's going to be terrible. Then last year happened without Deshaun Watson. We had Kelly Bryant, who was average at best. Let's be real here. Still went to the playoff. Yeah, we got curb stomped in the playoff, but we made the playoff. Then, of course, I still hear it. I mean, we're almost 2 years removed from Deshaun Watson. Clemson is still the second best football program in America. Clemson continues to win and will continue to win. And I still hear people saying, oh, Deshaun Watson's not going to save you this year. I mean, what year is it going to be before people stop talking about Deshaun Watson being the savior of Clemson football? Because the people that really know football, the people that really have followed football year to year, and not since just 2016, know that Clemson was good before Deshaun Watson, and they'll be good after. But I realize some people just watch football and pay attention to football a couple of months a year. I get it. And those are usually the people that make those comments. There aren't people that live and breathe it year-round, like people like me and you. Most of you in here. Yeah, this exactly, Delta Charlie. They said the same thing when Taj Boyd left. Oh, Taj Boyd's gone now. You guys are going to suck. Then Deshaun Watson comes along. And, of course, the rest is history. But they're all jealous. That's all it is. All right, so some of those games I just mentioned, we'll run through some of these betting lines real quick, and I'll just give you my opinion on some of them. Some of these games don't matter in the national landscape, but some of them are just interesting to altogether. So Clemson and Florida State, we'll go ahead and just start there. We'll get that one right out of the way. There's a lot of people that think this is a trap game for Clemson. I'm here to tell you I'm not one of them. Here's some of the reasons that I've been hearing that this is a trap game. Well, Florida State's getting a lot better, Pete. That's one of the main ones. Florida State's a lot better than they were week 2. Oh, well, so is Clemson. Sorry to burst your bubble about that one. Florida State has just as much talent as Clemson. Okay. I guess I can buy into that based on the recruiting classes over the past 10 years. They might have as much talent. What's the one thing that makes Florida State and Clemson different? If they both gotten a lot better since the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and they both have elite talent on both sides of the football, what's the one glaring difference that everybody can see between Florida State and Clemson right now? I'll give you a hint. It starts with a C. Anybody want to chime in on that? Coaching! Ding, 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 ding! Deshaun Watson. Or DeGoat Watson. Not Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's on my mind. DeGoat Watson, you win a prize. And the prize is you get to watch Clemson stomp the ever-living crap out of Florida State this weekend. The line is 16.5 Clemson. Now, that's a lot of points. I get that. I mean, and it's at Florida State. I still think Clemson's going to absolutely murder them. I don't think Clemson's sleeping on Florida State. I just don't think it'll be close. Florida State might have the second or third worst offensive line in the Power 5 conference. Maybe the worst. I don't know. But there's one person I feel sorry for in a Florida State uniform, and his name is DeAndre Francois. This poor guy. This poor guy is probably having nightmares leading up to this game. I don't think this game will be close. Take Clemson in the 16.5. I'll get to that one in a second, Richard Neal. Oh, by the way, good afternoon, Richard Neal. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Cam Akers has been benched, hasn't he? Willie Taggart's a complete disappointment. It's just, I mean, I'm not going to say he's a bad coach because, I mean, it's his first year there. But the guy inherited a top 5 roster in America, and it's just not looking good. And don't tell me that Wake Forest somehow means that they're going to be good now. Wake Forest is a terrible team. Okay, Wake Forest has no. I mean, I could run through Wake Forest's defense, and that's saying a lot. Next, maybe the biggest game of the week for a lot of reasons in the SEC, anyways. As far as implications, Florida and Georgia, the world's largest trailer park tailgate, because it's in the state of Florida. Okay, you guys might want to call it the world's largest cocktail party. Whatever, we're splitting hairs now. So the line on this game is Georgia's favored by 6.5. If you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, would this be a contest, I would have told you no. Well, I'm just going to cut right to the chase here. First of all, this game is more than likely going to decide the SEC East. I mean, a lot can still happen. There's still plenty of football to play after this week. Both teams have one loss in the SEC. Obviously, Florida lost to Kentucky. Georgia lost to LSU on the road. But looking at both of their schedules for the rest of the year, I don't see Georgia losing another regular season game after this week, and I really probably don't see Florida losing another regular season game after this week either. So I think the winner of this game will win the East, more than likely. I think Georgia's going to win the game. And if you're a Georgia fan, that's bad news for you, because I also picked Georgia to beat LSU. And I've also picked LSU to lose pretty much every big game they've had this year, and they won all of them, except for the Florida one. Which I did pick. I did pick LSU to beat Florida, and they lost that one. So I'm 0 for picking with the LSU games. But anyways, I think that Georgia will win the game, but I think it'll be by less than 6.5. I think this is going to be a close game. This could be a 3-point game, an overtime game, even. So that's why you're picking Alabama versus LSU. Well, I'm picking Alabama to beat. I'm picking Alabama in every single game that they play in the regular season until they show me any different. That's all that is. There's no discriminating there against LSU. I'm done saying that LSU's overrated. I think that LSU's properly rated. So if you're an LSU fan on here, you can go ahead and record what I just said and play it on loop. Okay, I'm giving you your props. I'm still not picking you to beat Alabama, and that's not a diss to Alabama. I mean, that's not a diss to LSU or LSU fans or anybody else. It's just the way it is. I'm not picking anybody to beat Alabama. Clemson Jacob, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. All right, so next on the list, and this is a very interesting game to me, is Texas A&M, Mississippi State. So I consider this to be the lock of the week. Where's my... Well, never mind. I had a prop. It shows you how ill-prepared I am. I don't even know where my prop is. Anyway, I had a lock. I had an actual lock, like a padlock, and now I have no idea where it's at. Anyway, so the lock of the week. Mississippi State is favored in this game. Texas A&M is now ranked number 16. I think they should be ranked higher. And you're saying, oh, Pete, you're only saying that because Clemson had a struggle win against A&M and you want A&M to be good. No, I don't care. I could care less. I hate A&M. I hate Jimbo Fisher. I hope A&M loses every single game for the rest of his career there. So I'm rooting for Mississippi State in this game. Nothing I would love more than to watch Jimbo Fisher cry on the sideline to the sound of cowbells in Stark Vegas. But at the end of the day, Mississippi State is way underwhelming and way too one-dimensional. And Nick Fitzgerald is not a great quarterback, folks. Sorry to tell you. He couldn't pass his way out of a wet paper bag. I mean, I don't know who's worse. Him or Touchdown Terry from Kentucky throwing the football. They're basically the same guy. I mean, maybe Nick Fitzgerald's a little bit better. I don't know. It's hard to tell. They're both terrible. But I think A&M overall is a much better team than the Mississippi State is. What's up, Uncle Luke? So, yeah. So, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So, yeah, to make a long story short, the lock of the week, if you're betting against the spread this week, take Texas A&M over Mississippi State as an underdog. I have no idea how that's possible, but it is. So, I'm taking A&M to win outright and cover the spread. Appalachian State and Georgia Southern. That game's tonight. Now, nobody cares about that game because it's Appalachian State, Georgia Southern. But if you look at these two teams in the group of five, they both have one loss. Georgia Southern's only loss is to Clemson. App State's only loss is to Penn State in overtime, week 1. So these are two really good football teams. Appalachian State is favored by 10 points. I'd take Appalachian State. I know that's a lot of points, and I realize these are two really good teams in their respective league. But I'm taking App State because I think App State is the best team in that league, and it's not even close. And they have the best quarterback in that league, and it's not even close. That guy could start for half of maybe more than half of the Power 5 football programs in America. And he's at App State. So I'd take App State minus 10. I think they'll win by a pretty comfortable margin there. No disrespect to Georgia Southern, but App State's that good. Sorry, I'm trying to keep one eye on the comments here. Hey, what's up, Falcons Fury? Good afternoon, sir. Next on the list, another really interesting game. This game does have implications in the Big Ten. Or at least for one of the teams it does. Iowa and Penn State. Now, this game's in Happy Valley, and Penn State is favored by 7. Iowa, believe it or not, is a one-loss team in the Big Ten. The Big Ten West is the weaker of the two divisions. The Big Ten East is let's be real here. The Big Ten East is the biggest appointment in all of college football because there's many people, including myself, that before the season said that the Big Ten East was probably the hardest division, team by team, the deepest division in all of football. Well, we've since learned that that's not true. Ohio State's disappointing, clearly. Wisconsin, well, they're in the West, but anyway, Wisconsin's lost a couple of games. Penn State's lost a couple of games. So, but meanwhile, Iowa is sitting there at 6-1, with their only loss being to Wisconsin, I think. Am I right about that? I think I didn't look that up, but I'm pretty sure Iowa's only loss is to Wisconsin. If Iowa wins this game, I think they're going to win the Big Ten West. Not the Big Ten. The Big Ten West. ahead of over Wisconsin, which means you most likely see either Ohio State or Michigan playing Iowa in the Big Ten championship. At the end of the year. So anyway, I'm not impressed with Penn State. They're I don't know if they're demoralized because they had high hopes of winning the Big Ten and they've lost a couple of games and they're just not they're sort of giving up. I don't know, but all I can tell you is Penn State is massively underwhelming this year, and Iowa has everything to gain, and I think they're going to come out and try to prove a point on the road. So I would definitely take Iowa with the points. Penn State may win a close game at home, but it won't be by 7 points. I'm taking Iowa. Iowa might win the game outright. Richard Neal says he wants to get drunk now. Don't do that, sir. Or do it. I don't care. Hell, it's 5 o'clock. Hell, it's almost 5 o'clock here. I was about to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's almost 5 o'clock here. Nona Bees. Clemson has a trash schedule and it's overrated. Nona Bees. There goes my watch. Nona Bees, I have a hard time believing that you think that Clemson sucks. First of all, Nona Bees. Who is your team? Which team are you a fan of? If you're brave enough to type that in the comment section, we can talk about your team's schedule too, if you want. Now, you're probably a LSU fan. Shit. Excuse me. Yeah, probably an LSU fan. Overrated. So here's the fact of the matter, Nona. So Nona doesn't like Clemson. Because nobody that watches college football for the past 8 years, really 10, but let's talk about 8 years, can claim that Clemson is overrated and actually mean it. Unless they just hate Clemson. You got me off track here. Nona doesn't want to debate facts with me. Because if Nona does, Nona will get absolutely slaughtered and embarrassed. But go ahead, Nona. If you want to, we can talk about numbers. You still haven't told me who your team is, Nona. Are you scared to tell me who your team is? Please let me know. Let's make it a fair fight. Well, actually, you fighting with me on the internet is not a fair fight because I will demolish you. That's why you won't tell me who your team is. Next on the list, Texas and Oklahoma State. Texas is only favored by 3. Now, this game's in Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's no good. Texas will win this by 2 touchdowns. What are we talking about? Well, how is this only a 3-point line? Nona's been timed out. What happened? What did Nona say? I was having a good time. I was about to destroy Nona. Damn it. What did Nona do to get timed out? Now Nona can't tell me which team they're a fan of. Nona, if you're listening, don't go away. You'll be fine in 300 seconds, and we can continue this conversation. Anyway, take Texas. Can somebody explain to me why Texas is only favored by 3 to Oklahoma State? Oklahoma State's no good. Oklahoma State's most overrated, underwhelming team in the Big 12 this year. A UCF fan. Well, that would make sense. All right. Next on the list, NC State and Syracuse. Wait, what? I thought maybe this was my lock of the week. I've got a special announcement for you people today. I have 2 locks of the week. First of all, the Alabama, or not the Alabama, the A&M and Mississippi State game. Bet A&M as the lock. And bet NC State and Syracuse as the lock. Now, Syracuse is a 2.5-point underdog at home against NC State. I'm taking Syracuse to win this outright. I'm taking Syracuse to win this outright because it's in Syracuse. And I think that NC State, after that drubbing they took last week, is completely demoralized. And I think that their heads probably still hurt from getting slammed on the ground 50 times during that Clemson game. But seriously, I do think that Syracuse will win the game at home against NC State. Clem Tiger is in here. Wait, let me see this. Is this true? Is there a Clem Tiger appearance? Clem Tiger, good afternoon, sir. He is here. It's been confirmed. I've seen it with my own eyes. Clem Tiger says Purdue versus Iowa for the Big Ten title. That's a hot take. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen because I think Michigan's going to win the Big Ten East. Much as it pains me to say that. But actually, it doesn't pain me to say that because at this point, I'm rooting. Where are my Michigan fans at? Where's Mark Dudley? Are you still in here? Mark Dudley, you'll be glad to know, sir, I have just become a new Michigan fan for the rest of 2018. Well, for the rest of the regular season and championship, conference championship, I am now a Michigan fan. I hope Michigan wins out. I hope Michigan beats Ohio State by 190 points in the Big Ten title game, or Purdue, or whoever they play. And I hope Michigan makes the playoff. And I hope and pray that Michigan plays Clemson in the divisional round of the playoff, provided that Clemson makes it to the playoff, which I think they will. Nothing would make me happier than Clemson and Michigan in round 1 of the playoffs. Nothing. Nothing. Uncle Luke says, Pixie and Pete, do you hate Ohio State? No, I hate everybody, sir. I hate everybody except for my team. So, yeah. I do, I guess. Who is more a hater, Skip Bayless on LeBron James or Pigskin Pete on Michigan? Well, I'll let you guys answer that since I'm not objective. I think I'm a bigger hater on Michigan than Bayless is on LeBron James. Exactly. Thank you, Clem Tiger. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm an equal opportunity hater, and I hate all of you equally. If you're not a Tiger, so thank you. All right. So next on the list, Kansas State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is favored by 24.5 points. Now, a lot of people have a rule. Anything over 24 points, take the underdog. Because 24 points is a lot. And then you also have people saying, for some reason, that they think Kansas State is good. Ooh, Kansas State, they're a sneaky team. They're tough. No, they're not. No, they're not. Bill Snyder's 50. He's been there for 50 years. Guy's 100 years old. He's got one conference title championship and almost 30 years of coaching at Kansas State. And by the way, they're getting worse every year now, not better. Kansas State's awful. They might lose by 50. This game might be Oklahoma might score 70. This game might be 70 to 10 or 70 to 17 or something. I mean, whatever it is. 24 points is a gift. Kansas State's losing bad. Oklahoma's going to destroy Kansas State. Where's Nona at? Oh, there he is. Nona B says, no one said Clemson sucks. Stop crying, you dumbass Clemson fans. I said overrated. Man up. You beat literally no one. You still haven't told me who you're a fan of. You still haven't told me who you're a fan of. And the reason you haven't told me who you're a fan of is because you're scared to tell me who you're a fan of. Because you're scared that whatever team that you're a fan of is actually overrated and won't be there at the end. Unlike Clemson. Oh, you're an Alabama fan. So Nona. Well, I don't read every single comment, Nona, okay? You said it 10 minutes ago. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm busy doing a show here. In case you didn't notice. So Nona, are you still butthurt? Are you still butthurt that you lost to Clemson a couple years ago in the national title game? Are you still butthurt that we stripped and stole that national title from you? Did you cry that night? I did. I cried tears of joy. Did you curl up in the fetal position? Because clearly your hate for Clemson is so strong. It's oozing through the computer screen. By the way, Nona came into my comment section today. The first thing Nona said was, you play nothing but bad teams and cupcakes. Your schedule is trash. Nona, I'd like for you to type now, if you can do that, if you're physically able to do so. Type one team as of now, this year, that you've beaten that's better than any team that Clemson's beaten so far this year. Go ahead. I'm waiting. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to read the comments. I'll be waiting on your answer, though, because I'm sure it's going to be great and funny. Uncle Luke says Alabama's not a good team. No, that's not true, sir. Come on. Come on, sir. Because someone helping me by something, Purdue is still favored versus Michigan State. I don't know. That's not one I have written down, I don't think. No, I don't. I don't have that one written down. I don't know. But Purdue should be favored against Michigan State, I think. Oh, we barely beat Texas A&M. So your best win is our best win. Is that what you're saying, Nona? Is that where we're going now? So you can't name a team that you've beaten that's better since our schedule's trash and we haven't beat anybody. But now the same team that you're bragging about beating is the same team that we beat. Isn't that right, sir? Is that where we're going with this? The more you talk, the dumber you look, sir. Which for you is not very hard. Nobody's crying, sir. You don't see me running around talking about Alabama having a soft schedule, even though they do. You're the one on here so worried and caught up with Clemson's schedule, yet you can't name a single team that you've beat that's better than who Clemson's beat. Not one. Oh, and by the way, Nona. Hey, Nona. Guess what? You gave up the same amount of points to Texas A&M as Clemson did. And you did it at home. We had them on the road. How are you going to explain that, Nona? How are you going to explain that, Nona? There's most Alabama fans are very reasonable people. I really don't hate Alabama. I mean, I know people like Nona and some of these other morons that come on here. They really want me to hate Alabama. They want me to hate Alabama in the worst way. I have no problem with Alabama. What I do have a problem with is morons. I have no tolerance for morons or idiots or people who don't really watch football since prior to 2008. I don't have any tolerance for those people. I don't have any tolerance for people like Nona. Hey, what's up, Wrong on Purpose? The artist formerly known as Drake Luke. How you doing, sir? Man, Drake Luke, man, your team let me down last week, sir. I was so high on Oregon. First of all, Oregon should have beat Stanford, but anyway, they didn't. Man, I wanted Oregon to win that game last week. I don't even know why. I'm not a fan of Oregon. I'm a fan of Justin Herbert. Hey, what's up, Leon Hurricanes? How you doing, sir? Oh, by the way, Leon Hurricanes, thank you for joining the stream, sir. You're just in time to talk about the next game I wanted to talk about, which is Miami and Boston College. Nona. I mean, I don't know if you're thick in the head, hard of hearing, hard of reading, whatever it is you're hard of doing. Now you're changing the subject. I don't know why I'm wasting my time with you. I know why. Because it's fun making you look like a bigger idiot than we already all know you are. But he says, you can't address the fact that we destroyed them and you won by 2. Well, no, you're the one that came on here. The first thing you typed was, Clemson has an easy schedule. Have fun on Easy Street while we're playing real teams. But you can't name a single team that you've played that's harder than who we've beat. You still can't do it. You're not going to do it either. The only team that you're naming is the same team that we beat. So have fun. Have fun with that. That's a great point, Hound Dog. That was a great point, Hound Dog. Those wins over Tennessee, I mean, amazing win. I mean, impressive. That win against Tennessee was impressive. I'm going to give you a round of applause for that one. You deserve a lot of kudos for that one. Plus the 3 high school teams you played. Those were all impressive too. Yeah, Ole Miss. I mean, come on. We all know Ole Miss is a juggernaut. I never said we played hard teams. I'm just making stuff up now. No, that's exactly what you said, sir. You said that Clemson's schedule was a joke. Have fun on Easy Street. But your schedule's a joke, sir. So I'm not making stuff up. And you also said that Clemson is overrated. So where should Clemson be rated? Where should Clemson be rated then, if they're overrated? Well, unfortunately for you, Nona, when you type stuff on the internet, it doesn't go away. So the very first thing you said was exactly that. So, yeah. Christian Ballard's joining in on the idiocracy too. Christian Ballard, I know that you're smarter than that, sir. Christian Ballard, you're my next victim now. As much as I hate to destroy you, I'm about to. Christian Ballard says if weak schedules meant automatically being out of the playoff, then Clemson's out. So what you're saying is that the ACC is so terrible, right? The ACC is so terrible that they don't deserve a shot in the playoff, right? Is that what you're saying? Well, Christian, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to explain to me in an intelligent fashion why, if the ACC is so terrible, why is the SEC 24-25 against the ACC since 2013, sir? Now, I'm not a math major, but that's 49 games between head-to-head games between the ACC and the SEC over the past 5 seasons. And the SEC has a losing record in that. So if the ACC is so terrible, sir, then you have a losing record to the most terrible conference in America. Can you explain that to me? Can you explain how that's possible? I'm guessing you can't. Because saying that the ACC is terrible just makes your own conference look even worse because we have a winning record against you. And if you just want to say, oh, we have more national championships in the past 5 years than you, is that what you're going to say? Please tell me that's what you're going to say. Because there are plenty of SEC teams that suck. This isn't going well for you, Christian. You're not representing your conference very well, are you? No, Tiger Nate, don't put him in timeout. You didn't say the ACC is bad, but you just said that Clemson has an easy schedule. But Christian, we play 2 SEC teams every year, and the rest of our schedule is ACC teams, except for a couple of cupcakes, which is one less cupcake than you play, I think. I think you play 3 high school teams, and we play 2, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. My point is, that's exactly what you're saying, is because we play 2 SEC teams every single year. South Carolina is one of them, and then we pick one other SEC game. Well, at least for the past 10 years or so. Georgia, Auburn, Texas A&M, teams like that we play. Which, by the way, we have a winning record against the SEC. Clemson does, and it's not just bad teams, sir. It's teams that are considered to be powerhouses are all in that schedule. Like I said, Georgia, Auburn. Hell, we're 4-1 against Auburn in the past decade. 4-1. I think we beat Auburn as many times as Alabama has, or close to it. But we're overrated. What's up, Ryan Maxwell? Good afternoon, sir. Well, I'll be the first to admit that the ACC this year is not good outside of Clemson. I mean, for the most part, they're not. They're not. That's not Clemson's. The ACC being down this year, Florida State being terrible. I mean, Florida State has been a top 5 football program for the past 30 years straight. 30 years. They've been a top 5 program in America. So they had a falling out with their coach last year. They still won 7 games even though they were a dumpster fire, and they have a new coach this year and they're bad. So now all of a sudden that means that the ACC is terrible. and that Clemson's got an easy schedule because Florida State sucks. Come on, people. I don't care. I don't care if Florida State won 0 games. Okay, I don't care if Louisville won -5 games this year, and Georgia Tech, which God willing, they won't win another game for the rest of my life, but they probably will. Has nothing to do with how good Clemson is. Nothing. 0. Zip. Zilch. You guys got me off on something I wasn't wanting to talk about today. Oh yeah. Well, next on the list. I know people try to trigger me, and I'm very easily triggered in that manner. So shit. So congratulations to Nona and Christian. I'll send you a prize in the mail for that. So Miami and Boston College. This game's in Boston College. Boston College. Came into the year thinking I was thinking they were going to be the biggest threat to Clemson in the Atlantic Division. Well, that turned out not to be the truth at all. Boston College is not very good. They still have A.J. Dillon, who's one of the best running backs in America. The problem is one guy cannot carry a team, especially when the rest of the team is absolutely terrible. So Miami's only favored by 2.5. Now, this game's in Boston College, and I got to tell you something. Miami's got their own problems. Miami, on paper, roster-wise, should blow Boston College off the map. That's just the reality of it. They should. I'm not buying it. I think there's some sort of a fractured locker room. I don't think that. I think there's a split in the coaching staff in Miami. They change quarterbacks like people change underwear. Who's the starter and quarterback there? Is it N'Kosi Perry? It's like musical chairs over there. I mean, they might have a third guy they throw in there. I don't even know what his name is. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Miami's terrible on the road. That's the other thing. If this game was in Miami, I'd say Miami wins by 14 points. I've never seen a team that's more bipolar on the road versus being at home than Miami. You saw this last year too. Miami last year just curb stomped everybody that came to Miami. And the games that they won on the road were like against bad teams too. Were like 3-point wins, 1-point wins. I mean, just eking out wins. This year, same difference. Miami's good at home, terrible on the road. So I'm sorry, Miami fans. Believe me, I want Miami to win this. Actually, I don't really care. But I'm afraid Boston College might win this game outright, and that's not because Miami's not a good team. That's not because Miami is, Boston College is better. It's because I don't trust Miami on the road, and I think that there's something going on there that's deeper than just what we see on the surface that I can't put my finger on. Leon Hurricanes agrees with me, and he's a Miami fan. So that's a hard game. Now, first of all, I wouldn't bet that game because you never know which Miami is going to show up. I mean, for all we know, Miami could come play one of their best games of the year and blow Boston College out. But I don't trust Miami, so I wouldn't bet it. If someone put a gun in my head and said you had to bet it, I'd bet Boston College just because it's in Boston. Okay, so last but not least, my favorite game of the week. Tennessee and South Carolina. There's nothing more that would make me happier this weekend than to watch the almighty Fighting Jeremy Pruitts march in to that dumpster fire armpit of America crap hole that they call Columbia, South Carolina, where when you pull up to get gas, they're so far behind in technology they don't even have credit card readers at the pumps. You got to go inside and ask the gas station clerk to turn on the pump. You got to pay them cash. They got one of those little things that spins and clicks when you're pumping the gas, you know, like they had like back in 1950. When you walk to the stadium, all you smell is BO, paper mills, trash, probably left over from what they were throwing at Clemson last year that they haven't cleaned up yet because they can't even afford to pay for janitorial service at that dumpster fire they call a stadium, Williams-Brice. And they're playing Tennessee. Tennessee's won one conference game. One in the past 2 seasons. Jake Bentley is a third-year starter. But if you talk to a Gamecock fan, they're still acting like he's a freshman. Well, he still needs time. His time's almost up. He won't even be there after next year. I mean, this guy's been at South Carolina almost as long as J.T. Barrett was at Ohio State. They kept saying, well, he's only like 17 years old. You got to give him time. Hell, he's 25 now. And he throws more in. This guy's regressing. He's not getting better. This guy's the first quarterback in the history of college football who gets worse every year instead of better. It's like he forgets how to play football the longer he plays. He's the Benjamin Button of quarterbacks. South Carolina's favored by 8. South Carolina should win the game. I wouldn't give them 8 points, though. If they win the game, it would probably be on a last-second field goal, like the same way they beat Louisiana Tech last year. Now, the question is, if Tennessee wins this game, will Muschamp be fired at the end of this year? Well, let me ask it to you like this. If Tennessee wins this game, will Muschamp be on the hot seat? I say yes. The only problem is I don't think they had the money to buy him out. So, anyway. As far as the betting line goes, pick Tennessee. I'm picking South. Excuse me, after the hiccups now. I'm picking South Carolina to win the game by less than 8 points. So, good afternoon, Hound Dog, by the way. Thank you. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. I didn't realize it was over an hour. I got to go. Thank you to Nona. I'm going to give a special shout-out to Nona, if you're still here, which you probably aren't. Christian Ballard, too, by the way. But Christian Ballard, you're actually smarter, way smarter than Nona. So, I also want to thank all my moderators. Everybody who's new here, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm sure Nona's already hit the unlike button, which is fine with me. But everybody else, hit the like button. Doesn't cost you a single dollar. If you do want to support the show, however, hit the link in the description for the Patreon page. You can click on that and read all about it just by going to the Patreon page and sign up for that if you want to. If not, that's fine too. But I do appreciate everybody. If I may, since I won't be on this weekend, if I have time tomorrow night. No, wait, I'm leaving tomorrow. What am I talking about? No, so I won't be streaming tomorrow night. What am I talking about? But I may stream Saturday from Virginia. I'll be just outside of Blacksburg, by the way. I'll be about 30 minutes from Virginia Tech. Anyway, I'll see you guys this weekend. If for some reason I don't, have a great weekend. Go Tigers. Go Vols. Yeah, and go whoever's playing Georgia Tech. I don't know who it is. Doesn't matter. And also go Texans tonight. And, of course, be watching that. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. And everything else like that, too. Thank you. Have a great day. Pigskin Pete, checking out.